So Dapper replied Seyi Vibez, TI Blaze, and Shallipopi. He said his focus has always been simple: to build artists, build business, create opportunity, and leave people better than he met them. His work speaks for itself because he's been in the game for a while, over 10 years, started with distribution and moved into label and a lot of things. And he said on how their relationship began, the relationship did not begin casually, right? They did not begin in bad faith. Seyi Vibez was the one who funded Seyi Vibez' first project, NSNV, No Shade No Vibes, was distributed through Dapper Digital, and then they entered into an agreement. They paid him to make the music as an investment and with a clear understanding between both parties. So him and Seyi Vibez, they had an understanding, right? And they worked on the project itself. They provided A&R on No Shade No Vibes, and they secured featured for it. So which means they were already doing label work on NSLV, No Shade No Vibes, while they were doing distribution. They were doing the work of a label. They were doing the work of a label. So, and in the case of Shallipopi, there were multiple witnesses present before signing. And then he gave Shallipopi the, what's it called, the contract. He had the contract for days. They had time to go through it. They had time to go through the contract before signing the contract. In the case for TI Blaze, the question were asked online. They've been documented process. Nobody was rushed. Nobody was uninformed, and nobody was exploited. He said the suggestion that these artists did not know what they were signing, I do not accept that. And the record does not support it. A man who has the documents days in advance, who negotiates its terms, who improves them, who takes the benefits under it on the day it is executed, and who then operates under it for years without complaint, knows what is signed, right? They knew what they signed, so it's not anything new. For the case of Shallipopi, when Shallipopi was arrested, he said he was, he was involved in the arrest, right? In not in a negative way. He got a lawyer for Shallipopi, he got a lawyer for Shallipopi's friend, and then they had to do the court case. He was the one who funded everything when Shallipopi was arrested. He said they stayed calm, they kept working, they kept investing, and he raised it only now because of the version of the event that is circulating. So he was involved. On the work behind the scene, he said Dapper did the work of a label instead of distribution, right? They were doing distribution before, but they did the work of a label, and then they did the administration, logistics, day-to-day machinery that keeps a career moving, right? They sat in on production, helped shape the record, which is they were doing A&R, they were doing songwriting, they were putting people together in the right rooms, right? And he said the very first video for some of these artists that they ever ran, and the very first time their music took them outside of Nigeria, came through Dapper. So now he's making a claim that I'm even a papa, right? And then for the investment, alongside that work, we invested substantially. So they invested in these artists, recording, production, artwork, marketing, DJ, digital campaigns, multiple music videos shot in Nigeria, South Africa, London, basically outside of Nigeria, right? And then he said, to put that into perspective, 2 videos for one artist shot in America cost this company $52,000. Not 52,000 naira. If Muna convert them, one of them was an announcement piece that was never officially released, so it earned nothing and it was never meant to. Announcement, they didn't announce the song. So it's more like saying, oh, we shot the video for an announcement, but they didn't release the song, right? One trip to the US for recording camps, video shoots, came to over $200,000 once flights, visa, accommodation, ground movement, and welfare for everyone traveling were counted. There was no show and no fee attached to it. That was money spent purely on making the work long before anyone knew whether it would return. So basically, it was saying you are investing in an artist. It's a gamble. You guys don't know whether if you spend $100,000, you're getting your return back. So every amount is documented and every amount sits in the same account and statement. I am inviting independent firm to examine. So bring in your firm, bring in your accountant, let them do an audit. Everything is there. It is what you guys signed. For label financing, how it works, something needs to be said plainly, right? When a label finance your career, that money is not a gift. It is not free money. If I give you money, if I want to help your life, you guys pay me back my money, right? It is capital put at risk before anybody knows whether the record will work. So I like an artist, I give this artist $100,000 and as advance. Once you sing this 100,000, shit, I will make my money back. Or am I gonna make 1,000? We don't know. There's no collateral behind it because it's a gamble, right? Nobody signs over a house, no collateral, as I mentioned. And I said advances are recoupable, and that was set out in the agreement and communicated earlier to every artist before they sign. It is not a detail anyone discovered later. That is not exploitation. So basically, if I give you guys $1 million, and even if you sing a very big hit songs like Lao, all those hit songs, right? If you have a very, very big hit song, But that your hit song, the money what I make is not even up to the amount of advance I'm giving you. That means you're not making any money, right? Depending on the contracts you signed. So if Lao not make $1 million and I give you an advance of $2 million, then Lao is a hit song, but every money on Lao is not even up to the advance I gave you. That's just for an example. So it says it's an arrangement that made it possible to spend the money in the first place. If a label cannot recover what it invests, no label will take that risk on an artist who is unknown and unproven. Basically, if they know Sabi or Papa, they know they help you. A catalog revenue number is not the money waiting in an account. Before anything reaches an artist, the platform take their share, the distributor take their share, and the cost of the label advance are recouped from what remains. When I understand what so before artists get money, before like the money reach your account, the label take their share. That is the platform, the distributors, and then the cost of the label advance recoup what it means. That is the order. It is written into every agreement. So before you get $1 million, right? If the platform take their share, 100K, remain 900K. Distributor take their share, 200K, remain 700K, right? Label recoup their advance, 500K, remain 200K. So that means 200K. Now your money be that, regardless if you make a very huge amount of money. Said the number being quoted online are gross figures from the top of that chain. Basically, my Lao money, I'm just using Lao for example, my Lao money makes $10 billion. Okay, that $10 billion, how much label recoup? Distributor, how much you collect? Label, how much you collect? Platform, before it gets to your point, right? He said the investments exceed he said the investments exceeded the earnings and the balance remained unrecouped. Do you guys understand? So yeah. And then when you place what is actually earned beside what is actually invested, these accounts do not show a label holding money that belongs to an artist, because the money we're investing, you, I never see that money. You are making money, but the money I invested, I haven't seen it. You are not profitable, basically. And then for masters and ownership, he said there is also a great deal being said about masters. When a label funds the making of a record, it owes the record it's paid for. Now, this has been going on for a while. Basically, what this means is if you have a recording session, $100 million, I'm aware they see these figures. If you have a recording session, 10,000 naira, right? If Nami give you that 10,000, if Nami fund that recording session, say, oh yeah, producer, everybody, this recording session, I'm the one funding it. This guy is just singing. That masters of that recording session, I'm the owner. I can do as I pleases with it. I can do whatever I like with it. It is me that fund that recording session. It is my master. So basically, that's what he's saying, and that is how it has been, right? That is not a Dapper invention, and it is not peculiar to us. It's not for Dapper. It has been around for years like that. Somebody paid for the studio time, the producer, the mixing, the mastering, the artwork, the video, the campaign. Now, these all make sense, right? Your job is to just come and sing. I'm the one paying for the producer, the mixing engineer, everything involved in that recording session. I'm the one paying for it. You need to just come and sing. So it makes sense for me to have the masters, or if we can come to an agreement, whether you buy back from me, give me back all the money I invested. Now, the claims of him selling catalog, he said, I have not sold anyone's catalog, not to a distributor, not to a third party, not to anyone. And based on what has been going on online, even if he sells this catalog, it is in his right to sell it because he funded the recording session, as we mentioned earlier. Now he fund them, now he get them. Now said, a viral video is not a judgment. Repeated insult are not arguments. If there is a disagreement about money, contract, or accounting, let us put the document on the table. Again, he's coming out openly and saying, this is what has been happening. If you guys have an accounting firm, whatever it is you guys have, bring it on. I will be open with you guys. Ownership sits exactly where the agreement says it sits. So if what we signed, if I say this is the ownership based on what we signed, again, what you guys signed, agreements, right? It is false. No signature on any Dapper agreement was falsified and no document was fabricated. This is a matter of record. It is capable of being verified and it will be. Remember, Shallipopi said he forged documents when he sold their catalog to is it Virgin? Now he said he didn't sell any catalog and he didn't falsify any signature. Now he said on independent audit, I think I mentioned earlier on, he said you guys should bring in your auditing firm, whoever it is, the big of who, the ones of ones, whatever it is, bring them, let them audit me. I will give you guys account of how I spent you guys money. So he said, one last observation, these accusations tend to surface when there is a record coming or a song about to be premiered, I will not tell anyone what to make of that. Look at the timing yourself. No. Now, this being reasonable, is Shallipopi about to drop a record? Is TI Blaze about to drop a record? Is Seyi Vibe about to drop a record? Seyi Vibe previewed a song recently now that is very similar to Back Outside, right? So he previewed a song. For Shallipopi, I don't know if he's about to drop a record, but TI Blaze said he's about to drop an EP. Now, is the timing correct? Maybe, but everybody want trend these days, right? And that is basically what Dapper is saying here. 2 plus 2 equals to 4. For the process and cooperation with authorities, there's already a date fixed. It was set through the paper process. Both sides were notified, and every party in this dispute knows exactly when it is. I mentioned that only because anyone following this online would not know it from what has been said there. I intend to be there as I was the last time. This dispute keeps being brought online. So everything that has been going on, they already have a set date and everything for it to sort it out, but they're still bringing it online. Well, it is what it is, right? Since this began, threats have been made against me and against people close to me. They have been documented and they have been passed to the appropriate authorities. Who they threatened Dapper? I better go. When I feel this guy, who is threatening Dapper? And he said, a word on how we treat each other. I will not use this moment to insult anyone. I could, but what is it going to solve? So thank you to my team. I know the sacrifices. I know the people who have given their years to building this company and everything. So it's just giving homage and paying homage to people he has worked with, music execs. The industry is growing and we have to invest in education around contracts, music business involvement, financial reporting, independent artists, and artists who genuinely understand what they are signing. So basically saying what you guys are signing, this is the repercussion of it. I'm not doing you guys bad thing. It is what you guys sign. Some of you had this contract for days. You had the time to look through it. Why is everything all of a sudden different? That's what he's saying. So yeah, basically it's closing now. And I said, let me end on something simpler than contract and account. Before I was an executive, I was a fan, like big fan of music. That has never changed. I still hear a record for the first time and I know immediately that it is going to move people. And that feeling is the entire reason I do this rather than something easier or more profitable. Basically, A&R, right? Like I said, it's been in distribution for a very long time. So that's Dapper for you guys. So I would ask one thing of the public. Wait, look at the fact as they emerge rather than the loudest version of them, and let the people whose job it is to examine the books and contract do their jobs, the lawyers, right? When they have whatever they find will be there for everyone to see. I will live with it either way. I am asking for patience, not for the benefit of doubts. Damilola Dapper Akinwumi.